Well, hello and welcome along to the Andrew Eborn Show with me, Andrew Eborn. And we're going to go stateside all the way over there. JReid, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing, man? Glad to be here.
Well, and it's not just you, but you brought Langley as well. Fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm awesome, man.
Jamar
Awesome.
Langley. What an artist. Fantastic. And wearing the Rolling Stones.
Of course.
Of course. Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I am so delighted that you can come all the way over to the sunny side of the shores when we can't travel in the Zoom world. How are you both coping in lockdown?
Oh, man. I'm going to let him answer that first.
Man, honestly, at first it was tough, but like, man, when you're doing what you love and you get trapped inside this studio, it becomes a journey. I can tell you that. You know what I'm saying? And you learn more and more about yourself and about your craft. So lockdown for me has been actually inspiring.
And I think that's the interesting thing. I've spoken to loads of artists around the world, and they fall into two camps. There are those who feel really frustrated because they're so used to appearing in front of zillions of people. And there are those who reinvent themselves using this new way of communicating. Which category do you fall into?
I think the second category, mostly because guess what? When you have a lot of time to yourself and time, time that you spend with people that you like making music with, it makes it like you almost like in a laboratory, like you experimenting and trying to come up with something new that nobody else has done. Because, like you said, even not being able to do tours, not being able to do, a lot of major artists aren't even recording music or putting out music because they're not able to go on tour. So, like you said, it's just trying to revamp everything you did in the last 2 years, and trying to just come up with something to keep you entertained right now.
They're fantastic. Well, what I love about, and I've listened to lots of your interviews and your fantastic music. When you started, your family, first of all, your mother and your grandmother used to sing at church, didn't they, JReid?
Yes. And then I soon followed after being in for, my toddler years. I started singing in the choir, then I started playing the drums, then I went to the band, and like you said, the rest is history, man. Like being able to grow up, and I was just saying today, this morning, like, man, it's crazy. Like I always wanted to be a producer when I was like, let's say middle school or something, and then to grow up and be able to have that opportunity and do it every day and produce people like this guy, like, it's amazing. It's like a dream come true type of stuff. So yeah.
I know, fantastic stuff. And actually, I mean, your first introduction, apart from your mother and your grandmother, where you said it was a cousin, where you went to a football match, and half time, it was the end of the football match. It's half time you ought to listen to.
Yeah, man. It's like, because, let's say, like, I've never been to a football game or a high school, anything at that time. And it was like, wow, it's like, this is what high school is about. Maybe I was in middle school or elementary at the time. And I was just like, it was a whole new experience. And then you saw the drum people out there just doing cadences and throwing stuff in the air and just like, oh my God, like I want to do
That's what don't bring the players back on, play more music. That's what
yes.
No, we love that sort of stuff. But it was a great career because you then started playing all sorts of things yourself. You play the trumpet, the French horn, the drums, the bass guitar. Which do you prefer most? Sax. You like sax, come on.
I prefer the drums mostly because, like, obviously that's like the foundation of music. Like you got to have some kind of drums to get you moving. So like I like the drums, and I have like more skill at playing the drums than any other instrument. So I just let him do all the guitar playing and the fiddling and stuff, and I just stick to the drums and the keyboard,
Pretty cool, but also, I mean, you had a bit of studying at Alabama, and talk to me about that time, because you majored in business administration. There's no messing there.
Yeah, no, for real. And then I majored in business, and then I dropped out probably like 2 years because, like you said, I had a real thirst for wanting to do this. Like I just felt like that wasn't my way to get there, because I knew a lot of people that did it at that time, but they not on a high level. So I went back to Atlanta and mostly like just got in with people who were in the music field. Like I said, when I was at school, all I did was make beats. I played baseball for a second, but mostly all I did was stay in my room and make beats. And like you said, it just catapulted to coming back to Atlanta, locking in, and really like deciding, okay, this is what I want to do. Like, of course, I had to get some jobs and stuff like that to, you know, fund that career, you know, moving in and out with the parents and all that stuff during my 20s, you know. But it actually got me to where I'm at now, you know what I'm saying?
And it's a glorious history. You're working on that basis. So you were making beats in your cousin's bedroom for all your mates and stuff like that. What sort of stuff were you doing?
We were doing mostly hip hop and rap music. Like, I was rapping at that time too. But like I said, it was really like just amateur. We was just trying it out, like, cause you know, not too many people that I was working with back then are doing it now. So it's like everybody was just like excited. It was just like pure energy. Like, let's do it. Let's make something.
I love that attitude, because it really is. You got to, if people are watching now, don't just try to look for the big money bag. I think you famously say, don't you?
Right.
You've got to work, and there'll be people watching at home thinking, hang about, this guy's worked with Nicki Minaj. He's now working with this wonderful guy here as well. How did it happen overnight? Well, it didn't happen overnight. You worked.
There you go.
Worked, isn't that right?
Right. I mean, and networking and just like, you know how like some big artists or some big producers, like, you can never catch them in a regular studio, at Publix, or at a regular grocery store. Like, it's just, you know, so I pride myself on being able to be reachable, and in that has got me to various relationships, like with Nicki Minaj. Like, I was working with an artist named Brinks Billions, and he introduced me to Nicki Minaj. So if I was like, you know, I don't want to work with him, I want $10,000 a beat, and you know, he probably wouldn't work with me, and I wouldn't have got that blessing. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, no, and you're absolutely right. I mean, and the relationship with Jamal as well would have come on that sort of basis, because it's really key for the business. So talk, if you don't mind, a bit about Nicki, and then we'll come on to the new stuff with Chevi and Jamal, and the fantastic stuff you're doing. But everybody would never forgive me unless we talk a bit about Nicki Minaj and the fantastic stuff. They say, oh, you got to ask about Nicki, because she was so glorious. And you work on the sort of principle that everybody's the same. They want to work with people they want to work with, don't they?
Right. I mean, to me, first of all, let me get the record straight. She is the queen of rap. And just I would say the best rapper in the game, period. Like, when it comes to pure talent and just organization over what she wants to do, like, it's peak, top tier, you know what I'm saying? So for me, my experience with her is just, it was amazing. Like, she basically rolled out the red carpet for me, you know, at the end of the day. Like, I was coming from nothing, you know, I consider myself like, I was not amateur, but I was working my way up. And she, you know, sought that talent out through, like I said, the relationship I had with the other guy, Brinks Billions, and was able to, like, you know, she was like, wow, your talent is amazing. I love what you can do. And even with like Chun-Li and Barbie Tingz, she was like, look, I got these songs in my head. I got these 4 bars. I want you to make something to this. Wow. And she put me in my studio by myself, you know, and gave me, you know, time and room, and, you know, some bottles to, you know, to help the occasion. And, you know, just magic came out. And when I was able to, you know, submit these songs and gave her back, she was like, she just ran in the booth. And I think that video is on YouTube with me and her in the studio. So it's like
great video, and it gives people a peek beneath the behind the scenes. And I think that's really interesting, because the other thing people always ask is about the writing process, because Nicki is very private, isn't she?
Right, she is. I mean, I got kicked out every time. I mean, except the one time, which was a blessing. I was able to see her freestyle.
Yeah,
Chun-Li, like, she freestyled the ideas, and they came so vivid that, you know, by the time she was done, she had almost the whole song pieced together, and she went back and wrote. And like I said, we didn't see that process. She kicked us out, and she wrote the whole song. Like, it's amazing to me. Like I said, she's very talented. It's like, it was a blessing to be able to see that kind of talent at the peak of her career, and see it like just form all together and be a part of it. Like, you know.
Yeah, and she was using a new technique with that stage as well, wasn't she? She was humming, I think, at that stage, and then adding the words later.
Exactly. And that's, you know, like I said, that's what to be able to see that process. Like you said, you don't really get to see that every day. And it wasn't like every time I was with her, I got to see that process. So it was like, to see that process, gave her the beat. She was actually getting a massage while I was playing the beats. And then for her to get out her massage, run to the booth, hum the song, you know, all that happened in the same day. So it was like a crazy day.
Yeah, fantastic. The Queen, as you say, and appropriately
there you go.
2018 album, The Queen, quite right too on that sort of basis. And the other thing about you as well, JReid, is you're very loyal, aren't you? I mean, you won't bite the hand that feeds you.
Period. I mean, that's key in this business as well. Like, I mean, relationships are very important. Like, I mean, of course, you know, it's plenty of people I would probably like to work with, but I feel like when you are aligned with somebody that has your back through thick and thin and puts herself or you before them in certain situations, like, why would I cross that line or just to be more popular, or, you know, because it has happened to people I know because they trying to do too much and end up biting them in the back end. So it's like, you really just want to be cool, be patient, because at the end of the day, I've got to live my dream. And like I said, you know, she's not putting out any personal music. She's doing a lot of features. But like I said, I put my focus on, like, let me build an artist while, you know, it's a hiatus going on while she's focusing on her baby and her husband, and like it's her family. Like, let me focus on something that's going to help me continue to build my career as well.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right, because people are the same, and people forget in this business, however big a star you are, underneath it all, we're all the same. We have a saying, Shakespeare, we always like to quote Shakespeare over here in jolly old Britain, but he will say that if you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? You know, we're all the same underneath all of it. And I think loyalty in this business is so essential, isn't it?
It's very essential. It's very essential. I mean, like you said, I met this guy in 2016 before the Nicki Minaj stuff. And even after that, he was probably like one of the first people I called, because it was like, let's get to work. Like, you know, I didn't have time to waste, and it paid off. You know, like I said, he's one of the most talented artists that
I love his stuff, and the stuff which you sent and things like that is really good. And we'll come on to that. But just finally, just to finish this sort of chapter, the other artists that you work with, just run me through those very quickly. It's a really impressive list.
Yes, I work with a lot of people. Boosie, Lloyd, Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, Jack Harlow, one of my favorite artists right now. Zonique, T.I. and Tiny's daughter, Beja Rodriguez. It's so many.
As they say in the commercials, and many more.
Many more. There you go.
That'll be good. Well, let's talk then, because you then set up your own business. You set up Chevi, and your very first signing was of course fantastic, Jamal. Talk to me. I mean, you said your relationship goes back to 2016, was it?
Yeah, 2016. Like I said, I was actually working with this artist, Angelina Cherie. She was playing the violin, and she was amazing, man. She was crazy. But what caught my eye about the whole process was this guy. Yeah. He was, we brought him in to play the guitar on the track. Yeah. And after he played, I was like, bro, like, come play with me. Like, let's start something. And sure enough, we started making some music. And actually, one of the singles that's out now, we made in 2016, 2017, and it ended up being a single in 2019. So, like, you know, that just shows you how much talent this guy got.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk to me then, Jamal, I mean, about your background and how you sort of started in the business.
Well, I started first. Of course, it starts in church as well. I mean, I sung on all the choirs, even when I was trying to escape. To try to play sports with my friends, but, like, you know, I had to go to choir rehearsals. And it really just started with me just being in front of people at home. All my brothers, you know, they are in the music. My mom, my dad, my mom sings, my dad plays guitar. So I was always around that musical atmosphere, you know, and it was just a matter of if I really wanted to do it or not, because I always knew I had the talent. So it really started there.
Yeah.
It really started there.
It often is that way, isn't it? We always say if you surround, show me a child to the age of 7 and I'll show you the man. And I think if you surround kids with music and that passion, and you both had that from the churches
Exactly.
and so forth, you're going to get that in your DNA, aren't you?
Exactly. That's exactly how it happens.
No,
That's
brilliant.
exactly how it happens.
So are you like the Von Trapp family? Do you at Christmas time all get together and you all sing together?
Oh man, we sing, we play, we dance, we do everything that could bring joy and laughter. That's what we do. We're that family. So the neighbors are always like, man, when will it stop? But you know, you may as well join us.
No, I love it. But this is the great thing when you look at the various churches, actually around the world, and the choirs and the communities, and what has come out of them is tremendous, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing.
You know, I think there's a whole, we do a lot of TV and sort of TV series over here as well, but looking at the power of the church on the music industry is just a really interesting take on it.
Yeah, I think because like you said, growing up, if you know, a lot of parents in the past have been, you know, they religious. So at the end of the day, that's your first taste of live music, let's say. Like not even just, you know, just music in general, but it's like live music. Like you see somebody in the corner playing the guitar, and you know, so like you said, that's like the first taste of it. So of course, being a part of that is you know, it's genuine more than just, okay, let me find what kind of music I do like, and maybe that I want to start making in the future, you know. So
yeah, and it's a huge sort of contribution and that people make on that sort of basis, as you say. So going back to lockdown at the moment, because as I say, we have lots of artists who come on the show and talk about their frustration. I think what you've done with the production is fantastic. Talk to me about missing live gigs and things like that, because there's a real energy about performing live, isn't there?
Man, there's a unexplainable energy about performing live, especially when you know your set is tight, you know, like, and man, we just really put together 4 songs from the EP, and man, I was just super ready to actually perform those, you know, like live. But you know, being on lockdown, but the great thing about lockdown is it brought a whole nother perspective to what we did. So we ended up with a whole documentary that's on Amazon Prime entitled Small Town Hero, which includes the performances we did. So we're still making it work, and we're still giving that live feel without having it completely gone, you know, so we don't miss it too much. But then, you know, that's what cool rehearsals are for. That's what getting in front of the camera and catching the whole vibe and catching a moment is for, to keep you in that feel of and the energy of just that live perspective. So when it's time, you know, when the world opens up and it's time to gig again, you're not so far behind, or you're not so out of touch with the live feel.
Yeah,
so,
I think that's right. And a lot of people as well, Jamal, have been working on the basis that they do these online concerts, you know, up close and personal and that sort of stuff. Are you interested in that sort of side?
Man, yes, of course. Yes, I'm definitely interested in that. Honestly, it would be awesome to put on a show with, you know, with the entire EP. I mean, we have the band ready, we got all the production ready, we got the best in the game ever.
The best in the game ever. I love it. I love the best going on here. This is like
this is the man, no doubt.
Absolutely.
So,
but that's it's what we were saying earlier with JReid, isn't it? You surround yourself. The biggest luxury in this business is surround yourself with people you really get on well with, because that's when the creative juices really flow.
Yes, definitely. That's what it's all about.
And just being able to, like you said, be like-minded, have a like common goal in place. Because like I said, like I've worked with a lot of artists, you know, in my day, and it's cool, it's good working with all these artists, but at the end of the day, you know, to be able to have power over how you put it out, the process of, you know, let's market it right, let's do stuff our way. It kind of helps, and like you said, it's individualized too, because just because it worked for Nicki Minaj doesn't mean it's gonna work for Jamar. So it's like I can, you know, the ability to actually build a sound, you know, around the artist. And, you know, like I said, that's the key, you know, because I look at like Timbaland and Neptunes, people like that inspire me because they produce artists. They produce Missy Elliott, the Clips, you know, Genuine, like all these artists, these, you know, producers were able to bring to light and bring the best out of them. So that's kind of what I'm on a mission to do. You know, and my artist that's not here, she's sick this morning. I think she had a late night last night. Morgan, she is amazing.
She's
amazing. You know, like I said, she stays in Alabama and here in the States as well, and she is amazing. Like I said, that's what I think that's my job right now until I get back in with Nicki, is to just bring these artists to the best that they can be. You know.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. And it is interesting, as you say, we'll get her back another time with the time difference. I know it's always interesting.
Yeah.
What I love is also the process, because you talk about that sort of side where you'll effectively mix various sounds from scratch, won't you? And you say that you then pick the artist's brain and then collaborate on that sort of basis. Is that a fair summary of your process?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like today, I probably would, before I leave, make him play something so I can take it back home and sample it. Because at the end of the day, music is like continuous. Like it's never like, I've never seen a commercial that didn't have music, never saw a movie that didn't have, like, it's something that can continue to happen all the time. So it's like we have to be creative in that aspect and be able to dish out content all the time. You know, and be able to, like you said, we actually dropping a song for Valentine's Day. And like you said, we're just trying to stay active.
Yeah, I know. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So the song for Valentine's Day, tell me a bit about that, because it's not so far away.
Yeah. So it's called Tell Me Baby. And, you know, this song is very much for the grown-ups, you know. So, but it gives you the blend of yesterday's music, so today's.
We said 80s.
Like the 80s. It has this 80s feel. I mean, the bass line, man, it's crazy. Just the bass line by itself is crazy. Right. And so the whole entire feel of that song,
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Like I said, I'm gonna put him in the category of the weekend, because like R&B music is cool because he can run through that.
Yeah.
But he can do this other kind of, like you said, like we got Highlight Girl out. That's just the other kind of music he's able to do. And it's like, I don't want to just put the R&B music over that, because that music is what people going to dance to. The dancing, you know. So, you know, like I said, he is amazing, man. This guy's music is incredible. Like, I can't wait to continue to get him out there.
I know, brilliant. And what about Morgan?
Morgan, she's, like I said, she's incredible. Oh, yeah. She just put out a song called, what is it called? Freestyle, 1117 Freestyle. And she has a video as well. And we working on more material. She just had an EP release called Overdue. Mm-hmm. So like you said, we are working. We are definitely putting our heads down. We're trying to think outside the box, because it's like you said, without performing and being able to do certain gigs and market that way, we putting a lot of focus on visual content and just, you know, social media activities, because that's really what accelerates this thing.
That's very good. Well, it seems as though Morgan may be able to join us now. How are you doing, Morgan?
She woke up.
Hey, look at that, right on cue. I love it. I love it. How are you doing, Morgan? We were just talking about
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, she there.
How you doing? I love it. It's a great surprise. This is like the segue. You see, it's setting up beautifully for you, Morgan. I said, tell us about Morgan in like the perfect introduction for TV. There you are. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Fantastic. So we were just talking about some of your music. Talk to me about your background. And we found out about Jamar, and we found out about JReid. Did you start in church as well?
No, I started rapping in high school.
Very good. And in terms of sort of your influences and stuff like that, how did that all start? Were your family musical?
No, they're not. It started just by it being like something I was good doing. So it started off by me just like playing around and stuff. And then it was something that I was good at. So I was like, I'm gonna, you know, take it serious. So I started rapping my senior year in high school.
Oh, fantastic. And so how did you meet JReid for the first time?
I met JReid for the first time. He DM'd me on Instagram, and he was asking, like, he told me that I was good and, you know, I was a good artist. And he was asking, like, what was I doing next? Like, about music and everything. I told him that I wasn't dropping any more music because I didn't have a studio where I live. And he told me that I could come to Atlanta, and I came and we met. And then ever since we met, I've been going back down there and we've been working.
Okay. Well, fantastic. Well, what I love about it as well is that we've always said they all start in church, it all starts with their parents, and you breaking the rule. I love it. It's
yeah, thank you.
It's gonna be good. No, I love the difference. So, I mean, how are you coping? We've been touching on this as well, Morgan. Is that people in lockdown? It's been really strange, and it's sort of how have you managed yourself?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh no, I was just saying about lockdown and how you've managed when, you know, with people not being able to get out on the road and perform. How have you been coping?
Well, I really wasn't, since I'm an upcoming artist, there really wasn't something that I was doing a lot anyway, so it really doesn't affect me. So I'm just still, you know, doing what I was doing before, which is making new music and dropping visuals and, you know, just different content and gaining new fans, gaining new followers. That's what I've been doing since the pandemic.
And I think we're reaching people in a new way, aren't we? It feels actually a bit more personal, doesn't it? Because you're connecting one-to-one in a sort of a direct way. And so even though it may not be massive stadium performing in that sort of way, going out and interacting with people has changed dramatically, hasn't it?
Not in my case, not really.
No, I love it that you're the exception to everything. No church, no parents, and no interaction. You're the antithesis. It's a really, really brilliant
rebel, a real rebel.
A real rebel. We love the rebels. So tell me, both of you, let's go around them. Let's start. What does the rest of 2021 have in store? Let's start with you, Jamar.
For me, it's going to be releasing. My plan is to release singles throughout this year, gain new fans, gain new ways and consistent ideas of doing what I love, you know, like really investing into Jamar, you know, like really putting the time in to my craft and to my team and just really moving forward, and, you know, and just taking the steps I have to take to get where I need to go. That's the rest of 2021 for me.
Sounds like a good plan to me. Morgan, what about you? What the rest of 2021? What are your plans?
My plan, basically the same thing Jamar said, but I'm gonna say it in my own words. My plan, you know, just elevate my brand, my name, get my voice heard, more people, more fans. My plan is to keep, like Jamar said, dropping more singles, dropping more content, visuals. You know, just stuff to let people see my talent, ways for me to broadcast my talent for the people who don't know who I am.
They said, well, they don't know who you are at church, but we can start with that one. So I love that as the principle. What about you, JReid? What's the plan? 2021, tell me.
Well, my plan is to continue to let these two shine. Like I said, in the past, I've been focusing on too much stuff, man. I think, you know, because, you know, being a name, you know, people call you, and I think that's cool. But at the end of the day, like, that ain't where I feel like, first of all, my heart is, but also where I think my business is going to go. Like, I don't want to be doing stuff for everybody named mama. I really focused on the people who I just really like making music with, who I really believe in. So that's really my plan. Just focus on these two, making sure they got everything they have to succeed. And, you know, like I said, that's what we've been talking about. New visuals, new content, social media, mastering, whatever we got to do to make sure that we are next in line for a wave of fans to understand, okay, we have a lot of talent that we have, you know. Like you said, if I can do it for Nicki, I believe I can do it for them too.
Oh, I absolutely. And what about with Nicki? I mean, any particular plans in the pipeline? I know you're still under that wonderful umbrella, but still part of the family.
Of course. Yeah, we always speak. Like I said, she, you know, she's there. I definitely like giving her space though, because like I said, she is, you know, if anybody had a family and just had a baby, I'm sure they would want space and time to, you know, to enjoy their family. So, you know, it's not a rush for me. You know, whenever my phone rings and she said, look, I need you to pull up, I'm like, you know, I pull up. But until then, like you said, I'm just focused on the stuff that's gonna continue to help me grow. And shoot, like I said, she already kind of give me the blessing to be able to do this kind of stuff. So it's like, shoot, let me keep it rolling.
No, fantastic. And I always say it's the best production ever of the children, so it's gonna be good. And we should get Nicki on the phone on the show as well at some stage.
Man, that'd be great. I'm gonna put that in her team's ear.
Fantastic. And you never know. I could press a button now. She could come in to surprise you, just like Morgan.
Hey, for real, you never know.
It should be fantastic. And finally, there are a lot of musicians at home looking for what they should be doing in this time. And the three of you are brilliantly inspirational. You've turned this round, if you like. You've turned around what could be a negative into a real positive. It's been a really productive time for all three of you. Right. People watching at home in the music industry, there are those who are suffering because they're not getting work. Lots of musicians are not going out and gigging and so on and so forth. What advice, we'll go around again. What advice would you give them? Let's start with you, Jamar.
I would tell them to, because someone once told me something that was very, very important. Find out who you really are. Put the noise aside and really figure out where you want to go and where you want to be. Because I'm an active musician. I play like every weekend. And I even had to put that aside to really figure out, as Jamar the artist, where are you going and how are you going to do this? Because the times have changed. You can't just skip by anymore like you used to. Like, you got to really just figure out where you want to go. And from there, I feel like once you build that person up, then you'll really move forward in what you really want to do. And you could really weather the storm, So I would say just, like, find yourself and love yourself a little more, invest in yourself, and just you'll weather the storm.
Okay, great advice. Morgan?
Yes, I'm sorry, but when you was talking, my phone was kind of breaking up, so I didn't hear the question.
Oh, no, I was just saying there'll be lots of musicians and others, actually from other professions, looking at this and thinking you three are so inspirational about what's happened during this time. It's some of your most creative time. You're collaborating, you're finding new ways to work, new ways to connect. What advice would you give the people watching this as to how they can be equally positive about what's really a very trying situation?
I guess just like Jamar said, I'm sorry, Jamar, but you really saying the same stuff that I was saying.
I'm your big bro.
Don't think I'm stealing your answers.
Like that. I got you.
But I would say just find, since it's a pandemic and you asking like what could they do, I would say just find whatever works for you, because it's a lot of methods. So, but everything works different. Like what works for me might not work for Jamar, and what works for Jamar might not work for me. So like he was saying, find yourself and find what works for you, and like just apply pressure on it.
Yeah.
Apply pressure.
Fantastic. Be yourself because everybody else is taken. I think that's a great message as well. So
right.
Really good. Fantastic. Well, JReid, it's the final word to you then. Speak to the world how they can survive these extraordinary times. What advice would you give them?
Well, my advice would definitely be to, like I said, like he said, also to just take time for yourself and really make sure, and be inventive, like, because I'm sure Thomas Edison and all these great inventors of our past, had troubled times, but at the end of the day, they didn't stop them from inventing the greatest thing that they ever invented in life. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the way you have to think of it, like, okay, you have to turn this into a positive or else you'll go crazy. First of all, let's talk about that. Then at the end of the day, it's just mostly like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? How are you trying to accomplish it? And what are you offering? What new thing are you offering that hasn't been done that's going to make people stop and say, wow, this is amazing. Like, I can't live without it. Like, I need more, So that's kind of the thing that you have to be thinking, like. So it's just mostly just staying positive and create and be creative and don't stop being creative. Especially if you're in a room by yourself and you got stuff to be creative with. You got hands, you can record something, you know what I'm saying? So it's so many tools to be able to get your idea and your dreams out now. So it's just like, don't make excuses, do what you got to do, hey, and go for it.
Go for it. It's great advice. And everybody, if they watch the Andrew Eborn Show, they get inspirational people like you guys coming on, and that'll help them through just a little bit as well.
For sure, for sure.
For sure. Listen, it's so great catching up with all three of you. I look forward to having you back. But for now, Jamar, Morgin, and JReid, thank you so much for being my guests.
Thank you.
Thank
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Be good and go to church. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right.
Cool. So thanks again to my wonderful, inspirational guests. If you'd like to be a guest on the Andrew Eborn Show, write to me at guests@octopustv.com. That's guests@octopustv.com. Don't forget to follow me at Andrew Eborn @octopustv, and you could subscribe on all of the usual channels. But for me for now, thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.